Welcome, welcome, welcome to our Wednesday get together. Well, we appreciate everybody being here. You strap on your 6 point harness if you're a racing fan, because you're going to see some things. If you're brand new to us, welcome. If you are returning Go Baby Trade champions, welcome as well. We're always sharing something new, but for the newbies, thank you again. You're going to see some things that you've not seen on planet Earth or in the universe, and you will not see anywhere else but here. I am Edward Pereira. Sorry, I'll change that on the screen. And my co-host today is my good friend and business cohort Attila Heveshi, and our genius, resident genius, the Nobel Prize nominee Ed Barsano, the creator of Go Baby Trade.
Go Navy.
All kidding aside, go Navy. All kidding aside, we're going to nominate you. So stay still. I'm going to cover some expectations. Let me share my screen with you. Okay. The standard disclosure. I'll give it a second for everybody to be able to have their screen come up. I'm not going to read it word for word. We're not legal beagles, right? But this is something you should know. The information you're going to see today, everything you're going to see is for educational, informational purposes only. It really is a life changer, but no one's holding anything to your head to make you listen. We do this for free because we are all about educating people, and we want everybody on the planet to hear this message. And if you hear it and you make a decision, as we always say, green lights are good, red lights are good, yellow lights not so much. What you're going to see here is nothing but pure amazing from a technological perspective. We are not financial, investment, tax, or legal advisors. Don't take it any take the facts away and consult your professional in that field. And if they want to talk to us, great. Invite them to the next webinar, and they'll get exposed because, as you know, in this wacky world of the new digital money revolution, not everybody's a believer. They're soon going to be, but if there's any questions, just send them the replay. So we're not licensed financial anything. We are educators, and that's why we're here. Nothing that we share is guaranteed, right? It all is based on what the market gives you, what your individual effort, your consistency, market conditions, personal circumstances, all of those things play a factor in. But you're going to see a strategy system and money auto trader and money management system that if you just sign up, connect the dots, we'll talk about that, let it go, it will make money in your sleep. This is at your own risk. We're not promising anything. Guaranteed results are not guaranteed. It's just simply as is. So with that disclaimer done, let's get to let's get to why you're here. Let me see if, okay. Can you see the transformation screen?
Yes.
All right. What you can expect today is, in one word, transformation. The opportunity to automate part or as much as your financial life with complete risk mitigation. Those that, and feel free, those that are part of the Go Baby Trade family, please do. The chat is wide open for new and repeat offenders. Share your experiences. There's no BS. There's no bait and switch. There's no does it work. It's 25-year track record. Training time's over. You're going to see a system that literally automatically trades crypto and manages your money 24/7, 365. We'll talk about along the way, probably when we transition into the Q&A, the special report that comes out once a month that is proprietary to the system, called the $1 Billion Report. You're going to see a live demonstration too. You're going to see my simulation account that I've been running for 5 months and 2 days. And you're going to be amazed, but then you're even going to be more amazed when you see the second demonstration, which is Mr. Barsano's account that he has been running, multiple accounts that he's been running since the release of this platform in April of 2021. You're going to see it in action, and you're going to realize when you get to the end of this, It's a set it and forget it, make money in your sleep. So with that, Mr. Hevesy, I turn it over to your genius and capable hands and take us away.
Okay, good introduction. Thanks, Edward. And again, my name is Attila Met. I'm here in Tampa, Florida, and welcome everybody. So my job is to give you just a little bit about my background and explain how I met Mr. Barsano, and as a result, all of you are here. Okay, and it's a good thing you're here because this is a life changer. There's nothing like this out there. So basically, most of my life I've been in the financial services industry. I don't want to bore you with all the details, but 5 years ago, just two to 2.5 weeks shy of 5 years ago, I was in the right place at the right time. And I came across a good friend and we had a long chat. And after that chat, I said, you know what? I totally missed the internet revolution. There's no way I should be missing this digital money revolution. So I'm going to proactively learn all I can. And not that anybody here has to do that. That's the beautiful thing about the trader. But that's just what I decided to do. So I'm self-taught. I did a ton of research, a ton of reading, a ton of listening to influencers like Crypto Casey and others, and the podcasters, and I got pretty good at this stuff. I mean, I'm not an uber expert, but I know more than 95% of the people walking the street on this subject. Now, that being said, um, I'm a cash flow guy. You'll hear a little bit more about that, but I built a nice crypto portfolio for myself. And what happened was the way I met Mr. Barsano is very interesting. But first, a little bit about his background. When he got out of the Navy a few years later, he was one of the first people, I think one of the first 300 actually hired by Bill Gates as a programmer and engineer, software engineer at Microsoft. We're talking about the mid 1980s. And that's when Microsoft was going crazy, kind of like NVIDIA is right now. And, he built a lot of the infrastructure there in the early days and retired a young man, was 39 years old after 9 years of busting his hump there. And he was bored, so he got into messing around with the stock market a little bit. And I used to say, unfortunately, but it's really a good fortune for all of us that he got his butt handed to him in 2000 with the stock market crash because he didn't take a liking to that and he saw that the game was rigged. He saw that a lot of average people were just gambling and he said, I'm going to level the playing field. And he did. Back in 2000, 2001, he developed the world's first fully automated robotic stock market trader. And this thing literally, once you downloaded the software, back then you had to download it. It was a bit monotonous and treacherous. I won't call it treacherous, but it was cumbersome. 60 to 90 minutes roughly. For a guy like me that's non-technical, it wasn't that easy, but I had help. And guess what? Once it was set up, it traded the stock market for you all day, turned itself on at 9:30 in the morning, traded for you all day. And then at 4 p.m., when the market closed, it shut itself off. Now, it did this 100% unattended. What does that mean? That means the same thing as set it and forget it. It required no screen time. That's very important because that means you could free up your life and totally automate a portion of your financial life. And I've always wanted to learn, not learn, but I always want to make money from trading the stock market, but I did not want to learn how to do it. So what happened is in 2012, I'm skipping 12 years now of marketing by Mr. Barsano. He did started to get this out there to the world. But a good friend of mine said, Attila, this was in November 2012. How would you like to make money trading stocks, but you don't have to do anything? It's automated for you. And I'm like, that sounds awesome. Explain. And he did. He told me about Ed Barsano. I had a chance to meet Ed. And I bought the software and I used it for many years. It worked amazingly well. Again, after that 60 to 90-minute download and setup. And Mr. Barsano in 2012 to 14, I believe, actually did join forces with the marketing company also. And they sold a lot of licenses, I believe, like $16 million worth of licenses over 2 years, which is a ton of business. And that's the time period that I met Ed. And now we fast forward the story a little bit closer to today. What happened to me in March of 2024, was that I had kind of a rough day at my desk here, and I have a very decent crypto portfolio. I'm very happy with it, but I'm a cash flow guy. When I was young, my parents always said cash is king. I believe that's out the window, and it's morphed into cash flow is king because if there's enough money coming in, enough cash flow at the end of the month, you're good. If there isn't, you're not good. So I unfortunately got myself in several cash blockchain cash flow projects in crypto and in the decentralized space that lost me money. So I'm like, how do I just keep my crypto making more crypto on itself, but in a safe fashion? And it took me a full day, but I remembered my relationship with Ed Barsano back in the day with the robotic stock trader. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I lost touch with Ed. A day later, I looked up, I still had his phone number in my iPhone and I touched base with him. We spoke for 3 hours. And I had a hunch. I had a hunch that somewhere in the last 3 to 5 years, he had developed a trader also for crypto. And he confirmed that. He said, Attila, I launched this thing in April of 2021. As soon as I did, I said, I'm done with stocks. And and he said it was light years, like light years ahead of the stock market trader. And I'm like, why is that, Ed? And he gave me actually four very compelling reasons. So I'll tell those four to you. Listen carefully because these are important. Number one, he said, Attila, anything you trade, whether it's precious metals, Forex, stocks, crypto, you need a ton of volatility. There's no asset class out there with more volatility than crypto. And I agreed with him 100%. That's a factoid. Number two, he said the stock market trades 5 days a week, 6 hours a day. Crypto's 24/7. That's a big advantage. It really is. And I agreed with that one too. But number three and number four are what really got me. He said, Attila, remember the old software was downloadable? I made this web-based. A lot of advantages. I said, what do you mean? What advantages? He said, well, actually, if you pull the trigger on buying the trader right now, I could have you trading live connected to your Coinbase in less than 10 minutes. I said, giddy up, let's go. So I bought the software, and in 8 or 9 minutes, I was connected live to Coinbase trading just under $10,000. Now that blew me away because I remember the old days when it was not easy. There was no way that was happening 13 years ago. And then the fourth thing, I just got finished telling everybody 5 to 10 minutes ago that I lost quite a bit of money in 5 different blockchain DeFi crypto projects. Well, he said, Attila, I created an API connection whereby your trader is connected to your own Coinbase or Kraken account so you control your crypto 100%. I can't touch your crypto. Nobody can. It's your. And I said, Ed, that's the most important thing I've heard today because safety and security is at the forefront of everybody's minds. Because in a new nascent space like this, in the beginning, there's going to be a fair share of scams. There just are. It's just the way things are in any new nascent space, not just this. So I was really, really glad to hear that. Now, before I give it back to Edward for 2 minutes for him to show us something, I want everybody to take two things into very serious consideration. The first thing is understand what this man has actually brought to the world, what he's given the average person, the masses. He has leveled the playing field whereby, without anybody being an accredited investor, without anybody knowing anything about trading, without anybody knowing anything about crypto, you really hardly have to even know anything about computers. You could now make money in your sleep and automate a part of your financial life. That's never been done by anybody before. You're looking at the man right now that's done that. It's pretty amazing when you think about it. Number two, please keep at the forefront of your mind throughout this Zoom that when we say this is set it and forget it, we are as serious as a heart attack. What does that mean again? Let me remind you. That means no screen time. You don't have to get signals from somewhere and put them into the trader. You don't have to pay any attention to this other than when you first set it up in 10 minutes or less. And of course, you have to make a decision that I want to get the trader and bring this into my life for me and my family. After that, there's literally nothing for you to do. That also has never been seen before. So pretty excited to be here as we are every Wednesday with this. My excitement for this trader never wanes because every time I realize how unique and special to the marketplace it is, I get re-energized, and it's pretty special. So before we introduce Mr. Barsano, I want to bring Edward back on because 5 months and 2 days ago, he changed course, which he'll explain with his strategy in paper trading, and it's the results are absolutely remarkable. So please heed these results, take a good look at them, and then in a little bit down the road here, you're going to see a couple live traders for sure. So Edward, do you mind sharing the screen and telling the short story of what happened and what transpired? And no need to go into the details on the $1 billion report because Ed Barsano is going to cover that.
Absolutely, but you lost me at short story.
Yeah, I know. Well, do your best.
Ed, well, but we'll keep it. We'll keep
What's
it
Ed?
short.
Ed's rubbing off on you?
Yeah, Ed squared. We can't. We're. If you ask us what time it is, we'll tell you how to build the watch. But we'll keep this short. So let me share my screen with you and give you a little bit of background. All right, can everybody see my trader?
Yes, yes.
Okay, great. So the reason why I'll mention the $1 billion report again, and then you'll actually get a chance to see it a little bit further in the presentation, is because I changed the strategy. Again, this is a simulation, but I wanted to prove the value of everything that Mr. Barsano has built in and continues to build in. There's constant improvement where every week almost Ed goes, "Hey, wow, look at this new thing. We don't know it's coming, but while we know as users of the platform, both Attila and I, and then you as the to be user or the benefactors of being part of the Go Baby Trade family, um, get a chance to benefit from everything that Mr. Barsano has been improving. And he will tell you, he'll back up the statement that over the 25 years that he's been building automated traders, both in the stock and now in the crypto space, excuse me, he's never stopped. He and his team have never stopped improving by getting feedback from us, the consumer, that he continues to make the platform better. So with that, the $1 billion report is where I got these. So I had been trading different coins, and all except for I'll draw your attention to Zora. That actually was a gentleman I believe that was a couple weeks ago on our um, broadcast that did not see it on the $1 billion report, but it's only because Zora was doesn't have a year's worth of trading, and the $1 billion report is a reflection of the full last year, the last 12 months. But Bonk, Ando, Pepe, and Whiff were in the top 10 5 months and 2 days ago of the $1 billion report, which shows you the without you having to think about it, Mr. Barsano and his team compiled a report that show you the most potential volume, or not volume, volatility in the coins that are available on Coinbase and Kraken, which gives you an incredible opportunity because all you have to do is pick from the top 10 as long as you like the company. The $1 billion report will show you how you do a little bit of your own research. We always encourage that. But out of that, long-winded, is these top four came from that. So in 5 months, it has made in my sleep $40,281.36 as of today. It took a $35.55 55 cent profit today, and you'll see that down here and where those numbers came from. But if you let me just give you some math, and I always get challenged on as I because I always say that I went to public school, so my math skills require a calculator. So I used the calculator. So 155 days, it's made a little bit over $40,000. That comes to an average of $259.88 per day. That is running at a pace of almost a half a year at 94.85% return on your money. Now, I'll draw you to the fact that I started this simulator with $100,000. Don't be scared I just picked that number arbitrarily. If you start with 1,000, if you start with 5,000, 10,000, 100,000, a million, it doesn't matter. Percentage wise, the platform simply divides your money, does all the money management for you, and spits out the same results. Given the fact, if this were a $10,000 account, with the same coins, it would have produced the same percentage. Obviously, lower numbers. But I'll leave the rest of the surprises for Mr. Barsano to share, and you'll understand what the entire dashboard looks like and how it works for you 24/7, 365. No knowledge. You don't have to know how to spell crypto. It just works. So with that, I'll turn it back over to
Yep.
you, Attila. And
No, no,
and
that's those numbers are crazy good, and we haven't even, and the trader hasn't even seen a real legitimate bull market yet. It just hasn't happened yet. So what lays ahead for everybody is pretty incredible. Now, Mr. Barsano will show everybody in a little bit. There's a report, trade reports, where you could see much lower numbers. There's people that started accounts for $500, $1,500. So I want Ed to share that with everybody so everybody could see it's the top 50 performing, percentage-wise, top 50 performing real accounts that people own. And it even shows which coins they're trading. And the best news, listen carefully, the best news is if you're a guest here today, when you click on Crypto Casey's link, which my business partner, Edward, will put into the chat in a moment, along with 2 support emails, when you click on her link, you could pull up that same report before you even make a decision on the trader. There's a lot of resources for everybody there to DYOR, do your own research. So with that, Ed Barsano, as always, thank you so much for being here. Glad you're feeling better. We know you're a little bit under the weather this weekend, so nice to see you. And we welcome you and your smart water. And please bless,
Yep.
please
Thank you.
please bless us with your thoughts, because I know you always take notes on the intros, and then you could go into
Yes,
your.
I have. I have pages and pages of notes that I just took. No,
Woo!
not that many. Um, well, first off, thank you for inviting me, and it's always a pleasure to speak to Casey's audience. That's a blessing. Because I like to talk, and how long have we been on here right now? And I haven't said one word.
25
30
minutes.
minutes.
No way, really? Wow. You can tell I'm just recovering from the flu. So I'm kind of moving a little slowly. But I did take a few notes here. Number one, I wanted to talk about the market. The market in the last 2 weeks has dropped 15 to 20%. That's a pretty big drop in the market in the last 2 weeks. But a couple of weeks ago, I was telling everyone right on the air here, and during that time, the market was going up. And I was telling, and my exact words were, we're gonna see blood in the streets before this market takes off. We're gonna see a pullback. Don't fool yourself. And I get so many people that want to throw all their money in because they see three up days in a row, and they think we're in a bull market. I'm like, no, we're in a bull couple days. But if you gotta understand how the whales work, how the wealthy works, and and that's one of the things I like to talk about. Other than just the software, we can always talk about the software. Software is going to be here forever. It's been here 25 years. It's not going anywhere. I'm not going anywhere. It'll be here. Um, but I'm going to tell you the market, the behavior of the market, the public is so predictable. It's almost it's sinful how predictable the public is. And I don't mean to insult anyone, but I'll tell you, when the whales know how to do it, what they do is they push the coins down. And now that's the first question people have is, well, how do they do that? All right. I mean, there's a lot of stuff we could talk about how to do a lot of things. But I mean, if you want to buy $30 million worth of crypto, go ahead and grab a couple million and sell it at a real low price. You're going to push the price down. If I want to lower the price, all I have to do is say I want to sell $2 million worth of this coin at a really super low price. at a very, very low price. Plus, remember something else. The whales, again, the wealthy, are the ones holding probably over 90% of the crypto. It's not us. It's not Joe Public. You guys are buying pennies. You're investing pennies in your cryptos. Even me. I mean, few 100,000, 900,000, whatever. That's pennies compared to the whales. Like the Trump family trust is sitting on $7 billion worth of crypto. And they're going to turn that 7 billion into 70 billion. Okay? So we don't even hardly have any of the crypto. The big boys have most of the crypto. And when they want to push that market around, they have a lot of shares to lower the price, raise the price. They do whatever they want. And what we've discovered, what I've discovered over the last 25 years is when they push the prices down on a stock or a coin, the public panics and starts selling. Because what happens when the price of your coin goes down? It lowers your account value. So you're looking at the account value. So one of the things I try to educate people on is I tell them, stop looking at the account value. It's a misleading number. And unfortunately, it's the primary number that people look at. And I'm like, I mean, if all you're looking at is your account value, then you're always going to feel like a loser because they push the coins down and it pulls down the account value. It's not rocket science. If the price of the coin goes down, then the account value goes down. Now, the auto trader at the same time is doing two things. Number one, it's preparing the trader. It's actually punishing the market for them lowering the price. So what that means is I'm going to grab my prop, my smart water prop. When they lower the price of a coin, say they lowered, like I said, market dropped 15 to 20% in the last 2 weeks, okay? And you can verify the numbers. I definitely did. And this morning, they're down. Some of them are down like 19% in 2 weeks. All right. So when the price of the coin goes down here, they dropped it 20%. The auto trader says to the market, okay, I'm going to punish you for that. I'm going to buy more at this price, at this lower price now. What are you going to do now, market? Because now you lowered the price. I'm going to take advantage of that lowered price. That's what the auto trader automatically does. It actually buys more at a lower price. So now it tells the market, what do you want to do? You want to go lower? Because if you want to go lower, I'm right there with you, baby. I'll buy more at a lower price. Now what are you going to do, market? How's Trump ever going to make his $7 billion worth of crypto turn into 70 billion? He's going to have to push these prices up here at some point. Don't worry about it. Because when they make that move, you've been accumulating all these coins on the way down, all these individual lots, all these buys. They lower it, you add more. They lower it, you add more. And so you're sitting on all this inventory just waiting to clean up. Every time they have a big move in the market, say they jump that coin 20%. See what I mean? They took 2 weeks to lower a coin 20%. They can raise it 20% in 1 day. So boom, they do that and you sell off all that inventory you bought on the way down. So the auto trader takes advantage of that crash. I used to say about Microsoft for years, many years, I used to say, fine, they want to keep lowering Microsoft's price. I'll keep buying more at lower prices. What are they going to do? You're going to run Microsoft out of business just to steal a few $1,000 from me? Or are you going to run it? What they did is they ran it from $30 all the way to over $500. So they ran it up. So everything I bought on the way down, I sold on the way back up. It was
So
just
Ed, let me ask you, is it
free
fair to
money.
Ed, is it fair to say this? When you're saying the trader punishes the market on those down moves, simultaneously it's rewarding the license holder.
Oh yeah, we're
Yeah,
cleaning up.
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
I'm sitting on so much inventory. What I always try to tell people is you can't own enough inventory at these
right,
prices.
right.
This is ridiculous, man. This is like buying Nvidia for 2 cents a share. I mean, it's a joke.
Yeah.
All these crypto prices, I mean, there's so much misinformation out there. We could talk all day about the misinformation because so many of you have these misbeliefs you've been hearing. One of the misbeliefs you have is that these cryptos aren't even real. None of it's real. Well, let me tell you something. These are multi-billion-dollar companies. They're real, believe me. They're as real as Intel. They're as real as Microsoft. They're real companies with selling worth millions of dollars. I mean, Alchemy Pay has got to be worth. I mean, I don't even know. Is it 80 million? I mean, it's just crazy. These companies they're worth a fortune. They're worldwide companies, real companies. Some people say, well, they're like penny stocks. I'm like, no, they're not. Penny stocks are garbage companies that aren't worth anything. That's the stock market. These are multi-million dollar companies where their coins should be going for $20 a share. Instead, they're going for 2 cents a share. And who do you think's taking advantage of that? The whales, the wealthy. They're buying 30 million, 50 million, 60 million, $100 million worth of each of these coins. They're loading up like crazy. That's why I say you can't own enough crypto. I don't even care what the market does. Go lower, please. Go down 10 days in a row. Make my day. I mean, I don't need these up days in the middle of every few days to make me feel good. I'm not interested in those pennies that they're giving us every other day. I mean, that's just pocket change.
Free money.
Yeah, it's free money, but it's pocket change. It's like, don't worry about it. When this market takes off, we've been in a down market for 4 years straight. This does not happen. I mean, you don't get bear markets that go for 4 years. That's just crazy. They've been lowering these prices for 4 years, ever since they decided to get in. And some of you may remember when I turned on the auto traders for the first time in April of 21, my first thing was I said, "Oh my God, I'm done with stocks." And I think I held my hand over my head the same as I just now did, because but that felt good, nice cool hand on a hot head. Anyways, anyways, but that's what happened when I turned on the trader for cryptos in April of 21. I said, "Oh my God, I'm done with stocks." After 21 years of just doing stocks, man, it blew me away when I saw what the crypto market does. I'm like, these coins are flying around, and they're multi-million dollar companies too. It's like, whoa, these aren't even junk companies. These are the real thing. This is like buying Gillette in the 40s for 2 cents a share. What a golden opportunity in our lifetime. You're never going to see an opportunity like this again. See, I could talk about stock or traders, automated traders all day long, but the opportunity that's before us in the crypto market is unprecedented.
Amen.
And the rich are just going to get richer. So the next note that I wrote on here is nothing else like, you mentioned that nothing else like this out there. And the question is, so my thought right away when I wrote that down is, why is there nothing else like this out there?
Well, I don't know why, but let me
I
tell
know
you,
why.
let me tell you the blessing that you've provided for everybody else that gets to share from your genius. I mean, it's not like you worked on this for, you know, two and a half
25
months and all of
years.
a sudden you had
No.
some genius. You put your brains to this. You got 50 years of programming experience, going on 51. You've been programming auto traders when you got beat up. You said, all I got is time, right? All you're doing is spending time. Do you actually leave? You're looking a little pale. Do you leave the house any? Do you get some sun?
I was out all day yesterday,
Okay,
yeah.
okay. No, I say that tongue in cheek, meaning all you do is
Is
spend your
programming.
time programming to make this better, to bless everybody.
To conquer the market. And the biggest challenge was not the programming, actually. It turns out the biggest challenge is the public, is the misinformation that's out there that everyone is subject to. And I'm amazed that you're being brainwashed into, it's, and that's why I mentioned common sense things like we put our money in a bank, we loan them our money for nothing. But here I got this statement in the mail from one of these credit cards, Sophie, SOFI.
Oh,
I guess
SoFi, yep, yep.
SoFi. I never even heard of them. I mean, that's not a Discover card. I mean, it's just some kind of Visa card or something. And the interest, they showed the interest on it, 31%.
Wow.
Can you imagine? So they want to loan you money and they want to charge you 31% for it. But yet you put your money in a bank and they give you 1%. It's like, what am I, 6 years old? Seriously? And you know, if it was just me, I can understand. I'm only one person, but millions and millions of people are being brainwashed or duped into just being made fools of, really. It's embarrassing that they could get away with it, that they would be allowed to get away with it. I mean, where are the laws? Isn't there something called usury laws or something like that?
Yeah, they raised it. They raised it to 36%.
Dear Lord God, 36, you're gonna charge you 36% for a credit card, but they need your money. They are desperate for your money. Actually, if you took your money out of that bank, they would literally have to go out of business. They are desperate to hold your money. And they're willing, and you're willing to give it to them for nothing. It's like, no way. I mean, they're making fools of all of us, you know, and that's when I created the Auto Trader, as that's what I wanted to take away. I wanted to take away the me being made a fool of. You know, they made a fool of me in the 2000 market crash, because I was in. Those of you already know that, you know, I was in all the tech stocks in the 90s, and they were all just going up. So I didn't know anything about the market really, and I had millions of dollars, and it was just going up, and I didn't have anything to think about. But then in 2000, they robbed 60% of my wealth, and that's when I said, "Whoa, you picked on the wrong guy." Because I got nothing better. I had nothing to do here. I've been retired 5 years anyways. I'm bored. You know, I'm going to automate this market and prove it's just numbers going up and down. And that's what I've been doing for 25 years. So,
Ed, I
and
got
the
a,
biggest challenge was unlearning all the misinformation that people were throwing at me. I'm like, whoa, is that your belief of the market? Well, you're wrong, because it's just numbers going up and down. You're overthinking all of it. Were you going to say something, Edward?
I was. It was going to be a funny, as you always know, I come up with a new
Oh,
T-shirt, right? Is that when you invented or when you created the crypto mafia?
oh, no.
Because you said, yeah, you're messing with the wrong guy. You used to
Oh,
say,
yeah, right.
I'm gonna hurt you for that. I don't know who
No,
you,
but I am Italian.
I don't know who
It's in
you
my
is, but I'm gonna
blood.
hurt you for that.
It is in my blood. Nobody likes to get robbed, you know?
No.
I mean, you don't even want to get, you don't even want to get the wrong change, when you go into a store. If you hand somebody a 20, you expect to get change for a 20, and, you don't want them to tell you that you gave them a 10, that kind of stuff. It's probably happened to some of you also. Um, so the next thing I wrote down, just one more item here before we actually go into the software, was one of the misinformation, I notice in the emails, the support emails that I get over the years, there's a misunderstanding of dollars versus percents returns. I mean, I have some people will send email and say, I wanna make X number of dollars per day. And then when I look at the amount of money that they want to trade with, I say, wait a minute, you're asking for, in order to get that return, that much money per day times 365 days a year, that would be like a 30,000% return a year. Where are where are you going to get a 30,000%? It's a complete misunderstanding of percents. Because I mean, this auto trader can easily crank out anywhere from 50 to 100% a year, even in a bad year. But I mean, asking it to do a 30,000% return especially in a year where the coins are going down, you're asking it to give you a 30,000% a year return. That's unrealistic. And the thing is, in their mind, they're not being unrealistic, because they're not looking at the percent return. They're just looking at the dollar value, saying, I want to make this much. And then they go to the internet and they find other products out there that lie and say, we'll get you 100% per month. Stuff like that, or we'll double your money every 2 weeks or every week. Lies. They're actually lying to you out there, and that's where a lot of people get scammed. is they're listening to those lies. I think that understanding dollars versus percents is a real big deal. Like you see Bitcoin go up $1,000 in a day. And in your mind, hey, that's $1,000. I want that. That's less than a 1% move. And the only way you're going to get get that $1,000 is if you actually had an entire full Bitcoin. That's worth, what is it, $110,000 for one Bitcoin? I mean, you would have to invest 110,000. That would be one big gamble. You buy it at the top, $110,000 worth of Bitcoin. Then if it goes up 1%, you made $1,000. But then you didn't really make it if you're not going to close it. So then you're still sitting on it, and then it goes back down again, and you lost 1,000. See, and if you sell it, then you don't have it at all. Then when do you jump back in? Because you don't know if it might run to 120,000, and you already just sold it at 101,000 or 110,000. So understanding percents, 150% to 100% a year is really fantastic. Warren Buffett would be all over this product if he knew it existed. The thing is, we're not even in his realm, in his world. When you have $100 billion, they don't even know we exist. We the people we're nothing. We're ants. We're literally ants. Um, so so do you guys wanna? That's all. I only took those 3 notes that I wanted to talk about there. Do you want to go in and look at an auto trader? I think most people want to be able to do that, right?
That would be great. That'll drive some more questions. And just so
Yeah.
forgot to mention in the intro and the expectations, feel free to chat amongst yourselves, share good news if you would, particularly those that are already a part of the Go Baby Trade family with others that are first time listeners or first time joining us. If you have any questions as the questions arise, please do put them in the Q&A. A lot of times the chat is moving so quickly. We have a slightly smaller crowd today than we normally do, but it's still really hard to keep up with any questions that enter into the chat. So please make sure that, excuse me, put them in the Q&A so we don't miss them, particularly the fact that we're on a restricted time schedule today. So with
Yeah,
that,
and Ed, I would love for you to cover 4 things real quick. Well, real quick, relatively quick. Number one is the concept, obviously, which you have on the screen already. This is the concept of the bucket and the well, which I
How
think
does
is
the
an
trader work?
amazing visual. Then number two, explain to people one of the most common questions about how your robotic autonomous trader with AI, where it's not the main dish, differs from all these AI robotic bots, AI bots popping up left and right in the
Okay.
last 2 years. And then the money management part of the trader is really what you discuss here with the bucket and the well. So you'll cover that here. And then once you get to your trader, please show everybody what I mentioned earlier, the top 50 traders so people could see the results with even smaller accounts. That's a great visual. And then the last thing is that $1 billion report. That is really quite something when people understand the value of that.
Okay. So I took my notes here of what you would like me to share. Perfect. It's in the order that I would have liked to do it too. So
Awesome.
the first thing I like to explain is how the trader works. You won't get this kind of stuff from other people, any other systems out there because they're just gambling. This is not a gambling system. This system is it's just like any appliance in your house. You have a toaster, you put the toast in, you push it down, and it makes the toast, right? There's no gameplay there. There's no trickery. It is what it is. That's how it's programmed to work that way. If you have a coffee maker, you put with the pods, right? You open the top, you put a pod in, you push it down, hit the button, and it makes the coffee. I mean, it's programmed to automatically perform things to deliver the goods, to deliver what it is it's programmed to do. Well, the robotic trader is programmed to just keep giving you free money. Okay? no matter where the market goes. And it's got all these things built into it. This is where the millions of lines of code come in. I make it look so simple on this screen, but I'm going to tell you, there's so much going on, and the software handles it all, because what you don't know about the market is there's a lot of corruption out there. You can't possibly think that the stock market or the crypto market is this honest machine. Believe me, the whales are cleaning up. They're making fools of everybody, man. And there's so much trickery going on, so much gameplay. They're jerking with you left and right. They're just constantly jerking with you. So, anyways, I was teaching an AI class, and a whole room full of 80 very intelligent men and women sitting in front of their laptops. And I saw a whiteboard, so I went and drew a picture of this bucket and a well. And I mean, this was off topic. It had nothing to do with the AI, but I went ahead and drew a picture of a bucket and a well. And I said, if the bucket has to go, now this is not a trick question. A lot of people think this is like an interview question. We're trying to see how your brain works. No, it's a common sense question, actually. If the bucket has to go all the way to the bottom and to get the water and go all the way back up and dump it out, and it repeats that, how much water can it pump in a lifetime? Simple question I asked everybody in the room. Now, there are engineers and everything in there, so the first thing they said is, how big's the bucket? And I said, it doesn't really matter how big the bucket is, because it's going to keep pumping forever. Okay? It can't stop halfway down and go back up, because if it goes halfway down, it doesn't have any water. It'll go back up without water, because it's got to go all the way to the bottom to get the water and go all the way back up. So I said, how much water can it pump if it does that forever? And then I started hearing numbers thrown out. 1,000,000 gallons, 1,000,000,000 gallons, 1,000,000,000,000 gallons. And I looked around the room. Nobody had any question about any of those answers. They were all very content with the answer. 1,000,000,000 gallons. Okay, interesting. If you really believe that, if you just keep going all the way to the bottom and get in the water and go all the way back up, you're going to pump out 1,000,000,000 gallons of water. Very nice. All right. Well, let's look at the crypto market, I said. What if the coin doesn't have to go all the way down and you buy it and it just goes up? If it just goes down a little and up a little and you keep pumping money, how much money can it pump? If it doesn't matter where the price goes, just keep pumping money forever. Hold on to those that are underwater up there, because now the price moved down here. So now the price moved a little further down. Hold that one, hold that one. That's all I'm holding. The rest, I'm going to just keep pumping money. Just keep pumping money forever. No matter where the price goes, if you follow the price around, no matter where it goes. I didn't say it had to go to the bottom. I didn't say it had to go to the top. It just wiggles around a little bit. How much money can it pump? So I said, then if it goes up like that, say it just bit a 20% jump, you just sold off all that inventory you bought on the way down because the price jumped way above it. Okay? So then I said, how much money can it pump in a lifetime? And the whole room went silent. And then I finally heard one person in the room go, there's no way that could be real. I love it. There's no reason it can't be real. See, that's the thing. And that's why I like to talk about this first before we even look at the auto trader. Because I want you to understand that the market is not, it's free money. It's literally, virtually free money. But in order for you to achieve this free money, you got to get all this brainwashed noise out of your head, all the misinformation, all the lies. And that, you see, that's one of the abilities I've always had as a programmer. I can remember going all the way back, like Edward said, he's so eager to tell everybody I've been programming for 100 years, right? Right? I know he
I
loves.
only said 75.
But I can remember when I worked in nuclear engineering for the government, and And I remember, I know what I'm delivering. I knew I was delivering the impossible in record time. And I did that the whole time I was at Microsoft too. I know what I'm doing. I know I'm delivering the impossible and ticking off all the other programmers. We know how it works. You know, I mean, one woman said, "You're making us look bad. You never even take any breaks. You come in here with your brown paper bag and your lunch in a paper bag. You know, you don't even take any breaks. You eat lunch in your cube. They hear my keyboard, man, because I hit the keys hard programming. They can
That,
hear that keyboard going all day long.
Ed, was that when you were actually working for the government?
Yeah,
Yeah. So I just figured out we have something else in common. I worked for the government for 32 years, as you know.
yeah.
6 months in, my my supervisor calls me and he goes, "Can you come see me for a second?" I'm like, "Sure. Everything okay?" He said, "Close the door." Sat down. He said, "Listen, you've done more in 6 months than people have done in 10 years. Can you slow down and stop making people look bad?"
I
Your
know, yeah.
government.
And I'm here to get it. I was there to get the job done, learn all that I can learn. And then I went to Microsoft. I'm like, all right, I'm done here. Thank you, guys. It was great. You know. But in any case, my ability to cut through all the noise is really what I was talking about. Cut through all the misinformation and all, and really look at what are they asking for. Like when they asked me to do an across the board pay raise that Ronald Reagan gave everyone. Some of you may, I don't know if you're old enough to remember that when that happened. I think that was in like 1985-ish. I think he gave the shipyard an across the board pay raise, and they gave that assignment to me. They said give the shipyard the pay raise that he said for everyone. And I did that in one day. I just cut through all the baloney and I just did the project. It's like, oh, is that all? So you just want me to give everyone whatever their pay rate, their level was, increase it by that what percentage? That's it. And write a new payroll master file. Open file, write a new file, print a report. It's like a school assignment. I think it took me 3 hours. And, but I cut through all the baloney and I just delivered that. And I think they thought I was going to play with it for a month or something, but I didn't play around like that. I just did it in one day. Um, so it's the same thing here is I just said, what do I need to do? What do we need to do to crank money out of the crypto market safely without me having to worry about is unless a coin goes out of business, they're just going to keep pumping me money. It's just free money. It's just numbers going up and down. There's so much, forget about everything else you think you know or you keep hearing about the crypto market. They're all the same. Every coin is the same. Let's just go to coin market cap for a second. Come on. I see it spinning. All right. Here's a typical chart. And this is a 1 month chart. This is 1 month of all this up and down action. And the robotic trader picture that well. Numbers going up and down. This is all they're doing. They go down, you buy, it goes up, you sell, and you take profits. And here's one where it went down, you had some nice down action. I've had people actually call me on days when the market's down like this here, and say, Ed, should I turn off my auto trader? Should I tell it to quit buying more? And I'm like, no, the biggest money you're going to make is what you sell from the stuff that you bought at the bottom. That's where the biggest money is. Because look at that. I mean, if the price goes above what you bought it at, you're just going to sell it at a profit. Look at down here. Look at that gap straight up. Boom. Free money. Anything you bought below that point right here, this point, anything to the left, if you had any inventory left, you sold it all off. And when the coin went all the way up here, everything you bought below that point is already all sold off profitably. So it doesn't matter. And look at all these up and down action. It's literally free money. And you notice this spike down here on this one? This is what that market does. Before a coin rockets to new highs, they always do a spike down really hard to try to get the little guy out, to scare the little guy out. That's when your friends and your family are saying, get out, you're going to lose everything. And that's when people, millions of people, dump their shares on that spike down. And then they rocketed the coin up to a new high like that. And again, anything you bought before that you held, any inventory, you sold it all off profitably. So this is beautiful. This is all just a beautiful market. It's all just, to me, it's just free money. And you have to listen to think of all the negative influence you have in society. Call it friends and family is what I can see. How many people were trading Bitcoin at under $3,000 a share a few years back and maybe had 5 or 10 shares of Bitcoin or even more? I talked to somebody not too long ago. He said, if I remember right, he said he had 50 shares of Bitcoin and everybody talked him out of it. And he sold it all. The guy would have been a multi-millionaire right now. Instead, he got influenced by a bunch of people who didn't know what they were talking about and telling him, get out, it's not real, you're going to lose it all. You know, because before they rocket things straight up, they push it backwards and scare the little guy out because the whales want to load up at the bottom. Okay, and that's what's going on, and that's what's been going on our whole life. Our whole I can go back 25 years since I started automating the market in 2000. I mean, that's how far I go back and observe, to me, the total corruption, the total misinformation that is out there. So once it's important to just understand. Wait, now my phone's ringing here. Sorry. Let me mute that. So it's important to understand that about the misinformation, I should say. When people the internet is full of misinformation. That was one of the biggest challenge when I started automating the stock market is I was automating everything that the people wanted. I wanted to give the users, because I said after 2000, the 2000 crash, I said, hey, you picked on the wrong guy, I'm going to punish you for that. And I didn't know who you was, but I knew I was going to automate the market. And I said, I'm going to prove it's just numbers going up and down. And it's literally free money when you do it right. However, I wanted to know what the people knew first. I wanted to automate what you were doing, what the people were doing. And I started automating all their strategies. That's why Attila mentioned what he said, that the first auto trader was downloadable software. It ran on your computer, and it had 10 screens of things you could do. 10 screens, let me rephrase that, 10 screens of ways to blow yourself up. And believe me, people were blowing themselves up all over the place. I'm like, dear Lord, they don't know what they're doing. They are not even, I wouldn't even call that stuff strategy. That is just gambling all the way. And I see it now, even with Go Baby Trade. I see what people are doing. They're changing their strategies every day. And you remember what I said when I first started talking? My first note here was market dropped 15 to 20% in the last 2 weeks. So can you imagine, while the coins were going down 15 to 20% almost every day, down, 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 people were actually out there changing their strategies as if they could make the market turn around and go up. I'm like, you don't have to do anything. Stop changing your strategy. Will you leave it alone? You're jerking with the auto trader. Let the auto trader do what it does. The auto trader's automatically, it's already done all the math. It's divided up all the money perfectly. It says, I know exactly how much money to allocate on each of these drops. It knows exactly when to buy more, when to sell it. Everything is beautiful. And then you're in there changing the strategy, jerking around, manually selling things and manually buying stuff. I'm like, will you quit messing with the auto trader? And then the auto trader's all recalibrating constantly to compensate for all your craziness. It's like, why is he jerking with this thing like this? Why did he just tell all the symbols don't buy anymore? So now you always want to be close to the price. Wherever the price goes, you want to be there. If you stop trading a coin up here and the coin drops 20% more, you got this big gap where you don't own the coin. And then you're watching the price go up and down while it's in that gap and you're not making anything. It's like you have a drawer full of silver dollars. The price of silver is going up and down, you're not making any money. It's just you're just sitting there with silver in a drawer. As opposed to the auto trader, it's always buying and selling wherever the price goes. So if it drops 20%, it's buying more down there. So when the price of the coin tries to go up a little, it's got inventory to sell. Profit, profit, profit. All right, so that's why you don't want to be messing. You don't need to be messing with the trader. Some people say, well, how often should I change my symbols? Well, you definitely don't want to be changing your symbols every other day just because the market is moving around. Leave it alone. The auto trader is set. I mean, I'm trading the same 4 coins for the last 4 years. And believe me, these coins went from, like Alchemy Pay, a perfect example, went from 12 cents to 1.5 cents, all the way down. And while it was going down there, I was making a fortune on the wiggles. So it didn't even matter where the price went. If you leave it alone, in the long run, you're gonna be fine. You know who I get constant emails from every day? New clients. People that just came on board recently. The people that have been on board for the last 3 years, we're all just sitting back watching all the free money come in. And it's like we don't even hardly look at our traders. As a matter of fact, I have not looked at my trader today at all. All right. I don't even know what's going on in the market. I don't know if we're having an up day or a down day or anything. That's how I am. When I'm doing a webinar, I'm going to go ahead and look. So let's see. Let me go ahead and let's bring up my trader. Here it is. All right. Perfect. All right. So today's the 27th. So it only had one sale yesterday. I'm looking on the lower right, filled orders. I can see I only had one sale yesterday. And then look at the 25th. Nothing but 2 buys. I can tell they're buys because there's no prices here. So 2 buys. And then the 24th. What do we have on the 24th here? All right. So on the 24th, we had mostly buys, but it started out with some sells, $121 and $122. And then nothing on the 23rd at all, no buys or sells. And on the 22nd, I had a whole bunch of sells. I guess we had a spike day there. But if you go all the way back and you just scroll through the dates, and you can see all the buys and sells. It's like running a 7-Eleven. They sell their inventory during the day, and at the end of the day, they restock the shelves. And it's the same thing. We don't put time frames on things, though. We don't care when it happens. We're constantly refilling the shelves. So you're buying and you're selling. You're buying and you're selling. And it's all this buying and selling. Look at September 26th. What a beautiful day that was. That was all selling, boy. And then buying some more and then selling it off again, So that was a really fantastic day there. So that's what you're constantly doing. And when you do all this, this is what it adds up to. This one here, this trader has been running since February 7th. It's a live trader. It's been running since February 27th of February 7th of 2023. and it's taken 348,000 of profits.
Wow.
I call it free money.
Hey,
But I
Ed.
didn't take it all at once. That 348,000 came from $14, $26, $14, $10. You take what the market wants to give you. It's not your job to dictate to the market. And
Right.
then you can see there are $95 days, $100 day here, or $100 trades. I mean, they're all over the place. I just saw a $309 one go by.
Hey, Ed, being that we're a little tight on time today, you think we could get to those two reports, the billion-dollar one and the top 50 traders?
Well, the first thing was AI. If I go down the list real fast, the
Oh,
AI versus
shoot.
AI. AI is an interesting beast, all right? AI came around in 1955 originally. It was originally created. And of course, you would have had to have a computer as big as a house to use that back then. So only, the big shots got to do that, use AI back when it first came out. But I was doing AI at Microsoft all the way back in 1989. They sent me to a class, and I think it was Maryland, either Maine or Maryland, one of those places up in the Upper East. Sent me to a 2-week course. So I've been doing AI since '89. And my original Auto Trader had AI built into it, for everyone. I never bragged about AI. AI, if you understand AI, it's nothing to brag about. Because say you're sitting in front of a monitor or 6 monitors. You often see people do that, right? If you go to a trade show or something, they got 6 monitors with 6 different technical indicators, and they're eyeballing each indicator, and they're looking for a pattern. They're looking for all the indicators to be pointing in the same direction, or maybe not all, but maybe 4 out of 6, 2/3 of them pointing up or down. So they're looking for patterns, okay? The AI has 27 indicators in it, my AI, right out of the Technical Analysis from A to Z book. You can buy that book off Amazon. So nobody does pattern recognition better than AI, because that's what AI is. AI has 2 components. One is it calculates and it tells you the pattern, the percentage of something that's like, what are the odds of 1 plus 1 equals 2? Okay, AI can't even tell you that answer. It can't say I'm 100% sure 1 and 1 is 2. Okay, because if you fed it information to train on, it might have seen 1 and 1 equals 3 sometimes, because sometimes you give it wrong answers, right? Okay, and if you're talking about stock data or crypto data, there's going to be lots of wrong answers, because there's no way that anybody could know whether a coin's going to go up or down minute by minute. Okay, it's random. Okay, however, when you're looking at the indicators, 27 indicators, the AI can actually see patterns that you can't see visually. And it could say, oh, I'm 97% sure this coin's going to go higher in the next few minutes. Okay, which is pretty remarkable that the AI can do that. Okay, I wouldn't trade based on that information, though. See, that's the second component of the AI. The first component is it can tell you the percentages of the pattern. But the second part of the AI is how you interpret it, how you interpret the data that it's going to give you back. And the auto trader says, unless the robotic trader says, I'm ready to sell this coin profitably, I don't need AI to tell me it's not going to go up anymore, at least not for the next few minutes. Because if I'm not ready to sell it, it doesn't do me any good for the AI to tell me to sell it, because I'm not ready to sell it. Because the auto trader never sells at a loss. So the auto trader's in charge. And see, this is the misinformation again that other people have about AI, other systems out there. Remember, I had no competitors with my trading systems all the way from 2000 all the way until a couple of years ago. All of a sudden, all these systems are popping up that call bots, trading bots. They didn't exist in the stock market. When TD Ameritrade called me in 2006 and said, "Hey Ed, will you connect your robotic trader to us to allow our clients to use it?" I was like, why are you calling me, man? How do you even know me? You know, and remember, some of you have already heard me say it. His answer was it was very profound. He said, "You're real." Thank you. I said, "You're right. I am real. I was the only one that is, and I may be the only one that's real still. Go Baby Trade may be the only real robotic trader. Everyone else out there is blowing smoke. They're all putting things all over, like, look at me, I have an AI trader. I don't even know what that means. And, you know, AI is it's a bell and a whistle. It's the power of the auto trader is the strategy and the software itself. The AI is a side dish. It's something on the side that the auto trader calls every once in a while, like two-factor authentication. The auto trader doesn't need to. If you think about, when do you call two-factor authentication? Say you're in Coinbase, you're gonna make some change, and then it's gonna ask you for two-factor authentication, right? It knew when it needed the two-factor authentication. It didn't need it for you to execute a trade, but it needed it if you wanted to do certain other things, like add a bank or something. So it's the same thing with the robotic trader. It knows when it needs AI and when it doesn't. Okay, so AI isn't what, it's not the holy grail, and it can't predict anything really. It can tell you a pattern. It could say, I'm 90. In Go Baby Trade, the way AI works is every robotic trader every minute writes data to files. Okay, now that's thousands of robotic traders every minute writing data, market data, on those 27 indicators to files. And then the AI trains on those files. It's called training. And it gets so that over years, over 25 years, the AI has gotten smarter and smarter. And it's got terabytes of data to learn from. It literally runs for over a month to train itself on that data. So it's constantly learning and getting smarter. It can tell me with phenomenal accuracy if a coin's going to go higher minute by minute or lower minute by minute. So when the auto trader says, I'm ready to take profit, why? Because just like the bucket in the well, the price of the coin went higher. Let's just take a quick look. All right, it bought it, it went higher, and then the auto trader says, I want to sell it and take that profit. So then it calls the AI and says, AI, do you think the coin's going to go higher in the next few minutes? If it is, then I'm going to wait. Then the auto trader will wait and before it takes the profit. It'll let it go higher. If you go back to the auto trader, see these AIs here? The coin price went lower, and then the AI said, I want to buy more. And there's your bucket in the well. Like it just went down like that. Then the auto trader says, should I buy? It calls the AI and says, do you think it's going to go lower? Or is it just going to turn around and head back up? So that if the AI says it's going to go higher or lower, then the AI says, hold on, don't buy it yet. It's going to go lower. And it shows you there it shows you the AI, that AI got involved in that trade. As opposed to the one below it here, it says added to declining position. The price went lower, it called the AI. AI didn't say it was going to go lower, so it went ahead and just bought it without waiting. And it works the same way with the profit goal. Profit goals, the market has not been giving us good up indicators. The AI, I notice, I'm having trouble seeing very many. We used to see a lot more profit goal reached with an AI after it, telling us that the AI there's one there, that the price is going to go higher. Profit goal reached AI. So that means the price of the coin went higher, And then the software said, should I go ahead and should I take the profit or should I wait? AI said, wait, it's going higher. So the auto trader held off on it and let it go higher. So the software knows how to use AI to its advantage. But AI is not the holy grail. For those of you who have ever watched Chop Champions or cooking shows where they open up the baskets and they say, these are the ingredients you have to cook this dish, you know, pickled pig's feet, Fruit Loops, you know, you got to make this dish with these ingredients, right? And, you know, and these ingredients have to be the star of the dish. And when I talk about the star of the dish for the auto trader itself is the star of the dish. The AI is not the star of the dish. The AI is a nice add-on. That's it. So if people are bragging that, oh, look at me, I have an AI trader, I don't know what they're talking about because AI is not the star of the dish. There are so many things going on in the market itself that there's no way AI could deal with all the stuff coming at it from coming at the trader from the market itself. That AI cannot look at all that stuff and deal with all that. AI
Yep.
is pattern recognition. And my AI's been running for 25 years. Their AI just came out in the last year or two. It's like a 25-year-old competing with a 2-year-old because it doesn't know if it hasn't seen the patterns over the last 25 years, then it doesn't know what it doesn't know because it can only make decisions. The AI can only return based on information based on what it has seen because that's what AI is. It sees patterns a million times and it says I've seen this pattern and 98% of the time I've seen this pattern, the coin went higher or the stock went higher. So that's what AI is. It can't if it doesn't know what it doesn't know, because if it's never seen it, then it can't make a decision based on it. And whereas this AI has been running consistently for 25 years and getting smarter and smarter. And the data that the AI is actually using is actually coming directly from the auto trader. So, and the auto trader is saying, based on the information that I've given you, AI, give me an answer back. Now it's real data that the auto trader knows how to use, as opposed to if they're using OpenAI to get data, because I don't know where they're getting their data. If they're not getting it from the actual auto trader that's feeding the AI, where are they getting the AI, the data that's going into the AI? Is it coming from OpenAI? Is it coming from ChatGPT? I don't understand where they're even getting data if it's not coming from the auto trader, from their auto trader itself. So again, you know, it's not even a good match for the data. So I think it's just a marketing gimmick. Like I saw once somebody, I don't really look at people's websites and I get requests a lot. Will you go and look at this other website or this other trader? I really don't like to look at the stuff. But you know, I looked at one I don't know, maybe a month ago. You know, someone gave me a direct link and he said, "Oh, will you look at look at that trader?" And as soon as I looked at it, the first thing it said is you can pick from 1 to 50 strategies. I'm like, "Goodbye. I have one strategy. We're all using the same strategy. There's not 50 strategies. I don't even know what that means. You have 50 strategies, 50 ways to make money. The market is just numbers going up and down. There's not 50 strategies. It's just they're just gambling. They're just guessing and they're wasting your time. You only have so many years on this planet. You want to get a nice trader, something that cranks out money, someplace where you can park your money and watch it grow without you having to do anything. And that's what I've created over 25 years. So let's see, we covered the well, we covered the AI, we talked about the money management, where
Yep.
the software divides all that up. The top 50 traders, or do you want to go into the $1 billion report or the top 50 traders?
The top 50, and somebody was asking, how do you determine that report? Like, how do you choose the top 50 and why only 50?
Well,
Why don't you do 500 or that kind of thing?
Well, because number one, the first thing, that's a good question, very good question. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
The first thing that is it's an automated strategy, all right? It's an automated report, so it's not me anything, all right? But I did put some rules in it so that it's somewhat valid. You want a valid report. And the number one rule was if there's any manual trades in 12 months. Now that's a lot to ask. You can look at your own trader and ask yourself, did you do a manual trade? Do you have any manual trades? If you search through your filled orders, do you have any manual trades in there? If you do, then you wouldn't be showing up in that report.
Not
All right, so
recommended,
that knocked
folks.
out a lot of people right away because a lot of times someone starts with one symbol. That's why I try to tell people before you go live, make sure you already have your symbols in there and your strategy is set. Now, the default settings for the strategy are already there. You don't even need to touch the settings, okay? And the symbols, you could really, right off the bat, you're picking Edward symbols. The five symbols you started with: Bonk, Ondo, Pepe, Whiff, and Sui. So, so those are, you already got top coins. But sometimes someone will come in and they'll put a whole bunch of coins that they already owned in there. And then to get them out, they start manually closing positions. Boom, you're gone. They won't show up in this report now because they made a manual trade in the last 12 months. And you'd be surprised how many traders that eliminates right out of the gate. Okay? So that's one of the biggest things right away. The other thing is I tried to get rid of the unrealistic numbers because when we talk about starting a trading balance, you have to understand when you first start, is all your money in there or are you adding it later? What's going on? Um, because what happens is people start adding more money as they go. And I didn't want to put unrealistic numbers here for the profits taken. I used to eliminate numbers that literally were over 150% in a year. All right, I tried to get rid of all these kind of outlier. I call this an outlier, an outlier, where something unusual happened here. Because at the beginning of the year, everybody doesn't just start with cash and that's it. Go back 12 months. If those of you have been running an auto trader for the last 3 years, you already know you're sitting on inventory that you bought 3 years ago. You're sitting on all this inventory, okay? That's underwater. And 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 that's in this starting balance here. But you already own all that inventory. So you have an advantage. And then when the market and if a coin spikes and you start selling off all that inventory and locking in all that profit, that's where you get all this. Okay? But it doesn't mean he started with just cash a year ago. There wouldn't be much of a report if we did that because how many people are started with just cash 1 year ago? Exactly 1 year ago. It's like not many, a lot of them started before that. And so they had a lot of inventory already. And then so a lot of it is it's just if you just understand the concept of how it works, of how this works, then you can see that what if I'm sitting on all this inventory at the beginning of the year 12 months ago, and then I get a spike and it all goes up and I sell it all, as opposed to someone else that might just come on board and all they have is the cash, and then they get a spike in a coin, but they don't own any inventory. That's why I try to tell people here that I try to explain because I'm not a salesman, all right? Edward and Attila might be. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not, you already know I'm not a salesman. I'm just a programmer. But I can tell you the urgency to get started. It's like if you're not, you can't, I mean, I don't know what to say. You can't own enough inventory. I'm sitting on 17 open lots. That means 17 times it went lower. Now it went up and down, but then it inched lower. So I bought it, it went down, and then it traded here for a while, and then it went lower. So then I'm holding that loser, and it went lower, and now the action's down here, and then it goes lower again. So then I hold that loser there again. Now I got three of them, and it's down here going up and down, up and down, up and down, and then it went lower, and I got another one. Well, I've got 17 of those losers, if you will, on that one. 17 here. 32 losers on GRT. I contend that GRT and Shiba Inu are both in play by the wealthy. I think they are loading up on these coins. These are multi-billion-dollar companies. GRT. I've got 32 open lots of GRT, but I'm not worried about it. I've taken $61,000 of profit on GRT. All right. And $54,000 of profit on Shiba Inu, even though I'm sitting on 25 open lots of negative inventory. Okay. So that's what happens when you get to this report. When a coin, if someone is sitting on a lot of inventory at the bottom, or the price of the coin is way down here, it looks like he only has, oh look, he only has $9,000. Yeah, but he's got $9,000 of beautiful inventory, right? That's underwater. And then all of a sudden that coin doubles in value. And and he takes $20,000 of profit off the table. Boom, like that, of free money. Then it looks like this. So, so that's the thing. So you can't really, there's no trickery here. One guy actually had the audacity to tell me, what did he say? Something like, I know someone said I was irreverent when it came to the market.
Well, Ed, let me
I had to
just say
Google that, by the way,
one thing we
because I
always,
don't respect the market at all. I have very little respect for the market. The market is just a scam, and it's free money. So
yeah, one thing we always say, and we haven't said it yet today, but I'll say it because every week we get some comments, and sometimes you get people that are pretty. Here, let me just say this. This is life. I'm going to say something. This is life. People are usually down on what they're not up on. Okay. So until you get educated, just don't be making blanket statements and negative statements. The only people that are negative on this robotic autonomous crypto trader are the people that don't own it. Every
right.
single person that owns it is a happy camper. Period. End of story. So you can make all the comments you want. You know who you are. Okay. And we're going to get to everybody's questions as quickly as we can
Cool.
before the 2 hour limit. But I'm just saying, historically, by now, we would have said that. The only people that are down on the trader are the ones that don't own it. And Anthony, I know
Right.
you're going to second that, as many of you are. Anyway,
So what I was gonna say here,
yeah,
thank you, Attila.
sure.
I mean, we all have thick skin, I've been doing this for
We don't care.
25 years. I've heard all the negative
We
stuff
don't
you could
care.
even think of. I've heard every negative thing you could think of. If it was real, there'd be no market. If it was real, everybody would already have it. It's like, no, I can never deprogram a population. They're too brainwashed. You can't fix brainwashed,
No,
and and it's too involved, and they don't realize all that goes into it. They don't understand the level 2 screen, the fake data that goes by there. If I look at GRT, just this is the level 2 data. And there's a lot of misinformation that comes up. These are actual orders, by the way. Some of you may know that. But look at this one here, 22 shares. 22 right here. This one here, the fourth one down. 22 shares. Someone says, I'm willing to sell this coin, but but he's only willing to sell 22 shares. So if you really want to buy it, you're not really going to get, if I want to buy 100,000 shares, well, that one there, I'm going to blow right through that price because he doesn't have 100,000 shares to offer. I'm going to have to go to the next one up. So you could see you're going to pay a higher price. So a lot of times, I mean, there's so much misinformation out there that you don't even see the auto trader interrogates a level 2 screen. Most people, most trading systems don't even know what a level 2 screen is. So I sat in a day trading house all the way back in 2001. See, so I have all this vast experience. And in this day trading house, we're professional traders. I'll tell the story again. Some of you may have already heard it. But I was trading Microsoft, and I'm very vocal, and the room was just a whole big bullpen full of just tables with people sitting in front of their computers, and professional traders. And I said, hey, how do I know when to sell this Microsoft that I just bought? I just threw that out there verbally to see what somebody would say. And somebody walked up to my right shoulder here, and he said, that's easy. He said, he just clicked on he didn't click on anything. I already had the level 2 screen up on my screen. And he said, that's easy. You see that guy's order right there? Sell it right under him. So, I mean, so you wonder why so that's why my auto trader hides all that the information. So sometimes you might get an order. Somebody might tell me, someone will send email and say, this coin has been above my target price, all day. How come it's not taking the profit? I said, because that's not the real price. You're not really going to get filled at that price that is on that screen. That's a fake price. And if you try to get filled at that, you're going to lose, you're going to end up losing money on that trade. So the auto trader, if I click on the plus, it actually tells you the auto trader knows in advance. It says next estimated advancing trade price. That means if the coin price goes up to 0.05 to 5 cents, it's going to buy more. And it also says the decliners. If the price drops to 0.019, that's under 2 cents, it's going to buy more. There. It's going to add to a winner or it's going to add to a loser. But then the gap between those two, I call that a gap. It can fill the gap. So it knows where it's going to, when it's going to buy and when it's going to sell. It also knows well, those are the ads. That's when it's going to buy. This one is down 4.5%. But the price is, see the price here is 2 cents. It's above the drop price, the decline price, and it's below the advancing price. So it already owns it at this price, close enough to this price within 3%. So it's not going to add more on the what do you call that, on the gap. But the software is designed to also fill the gap, add to gaps. See if I can see any add to gaps in here. It actually tells you when it's adding to a gap, meaning you don't want to have a lot of no man's land between from the high price to the low price. You don't want this no man's land here. And see, now there's another thing other traders wouldn't even think of doing is you want to fill the gap so that when a price goes in there, it can't just go into this big no man's land and go up and down without you making money. I never let the coin move 3% higher without giving me money. So a lot of the gaps, it's been hovering around this price for a long time. This 2 cent mark. So that's why it's already bought at those prices. So it's already filled the gap. So we really got it kind of trapped in there. The price. And at dollar cost averages, Bitcoin really, really great. I know that was something Crypto Casey asked for, and that's why I went to the select currencies screen here, where you enter your symbols. It used to say allow buying and allow sells. See allow sells? And then these two were combined into one that said allow adding. Allow adding to a position and allow selling it. But then because of Bitcoin, I went ahead and broke these out. I separated them to allow you to say whether you want to allow it to add to advancers and whether you wanted to allow it to add to decliners. The
Hey, Ed.
default is to do both.
Hey, Ed, let me make a comment here because some people that are interested in the trader are asking an obvious question, which usually by now we will have shown or answered. When you buy the license, it automatically goes into paper trading mode. And on this screen, it will come up above, right below the red. If you could scroll up a little bit so people could read that red line up above on the top of the page, right around there, in between that red writing and the black writing is something in gray that says default, click here for default coins.
Oh, that's on the other screen. Yeah, when you first sign up, yeah, you're
Okay,
gonna have a choice. You can type in your symbols or you can just pick the biggest defaulters, the top coins that are like up here.
right, right. So you have a lot of flexibility. And what most people do, frankly, to keep it simple, is to click on default because those are in the top 10 of the highest trade counts, which is actually on the screen right now. This is the $1 billion report. It's called highest trade counts. Okay. So go ahead and explain this, Ed.
All right. So what this screen is, Edward calls this the $1 billion report. If you were, and again, I like to explain things in layman's terms.
Yep.
Like, say you were opening up a 7-Eleven for the first time, and you have no experience at all. I don't. Okay? So I wouldn't know what products to put on the shelf. Okay? So here so I'm going to sit down with an expert. He's going to bring up a screen like this and say, what do people buy? Now you can do this, if you think about it, if you go next time you go to a grocery store, a Quick Mart, or a 7-Eleven, those small places like where you're getting gas, maybe you go in there, take a look at what people are buying. Just observe what they're buying. Monster drinks, potato chips. I saw somebody buying vodka the other day. It's crazy. I'm in Vegas, all right? I didn't know they sold vodka. I never even thought about it, but they did. So, monster drinks, potato chips, candy bars, that kind of stuff. So that's what's at the top of the report. These are the biggest moving items. These are the biggest movers. These coins have the highest volatility at the top of the report. Now, you want to find your iodine and your band-aids and stuff like that? Vinegar, maybe. I mean, who's going to buy vinegar? I don't know. My wife would. She buys them by the gallons. We go through a lot of vinegar. Um, but but that kind of stuff is at the bottom of the report. I call that these are the junk coins where
Okay.
you're getting 84 trades in a year. On average, like 3 trades a month, just I mean, is that what that column is? Is that the number of trades per month? Let me
I
take a look
think
at the
so. I
top.
think so. Yeah.
Monthly
Monthly
average,
average.
yeah.
Yep.
So, I want stuff that's going to give me 1,000 trades, not something that's going to give me 80 trades, and then it shows you the month by month how many trades it did over the last few months. Here's July's trades. Here's June's. Here's March, May, and April, and March. And you can see what happened after the this is where I call it a conspiracy. This is where the big boys stepped up. After the summit in the White House, before the summit, these coins were doing fantastic, right? 242 trades in a month, 185 trades, 378 trades, 190 trades. And then after February, they did that crypto summit in the White House. Now let's look at who was in that White House. Trump, and then he had 25 of his minions, I call them. 25 of his multi-millionaire crypto holders in that room. And Trump said he's unleashing these guys onto the regulatory world, the crypto world, and saying, do what you need to do to make the cryptos take off, to unleash the crypto market. What's been holding this market back for the last 9 years or 4 years? We want get rid of all that. And so as soon as that happened, in my opinion, it became more of a sure thing in the market. It became it's like we're gonna get rich beyond belief. Now we know that once all these regulations that have been holding the market back are out of the way, this crypto market's gonna rocket. So what do? They start slamming the coins down. Why? So the wealthy can load up at the lowest prices. Now, who else is loading up at the lowest prices? Us. We're like, go down, baby. You want to go down? Make my day. I don't care, because I don't care where that price goes. The auto trader is doing money management. And that's where it's important that people don't do manual trading, because the software has already divided up your money and said, I want to be able to trade that coin all the way to the bottom if it should go there. You see, the bucket and the well works because the software knows how to divide up the money so that even if it drops 80 or 90%, you're still down here trading. As opposed to a buy and holder, who puts all his money in at the top, and then when the coin drops lower, he doesn't have any money to trade with. I mean, picture the people who jumped on ACH, Alchemy Pay, 4 years ago at 12 cents a share, and then the coin dropped all the way down to 1 cent. From 12 cents to 1 cent. They got to be jumping out of a window by now. And they haven't made a dime the whole way because they went all in at 12 cents. So they didn't have any money down here to trade. So they're not doing what this is doing, all this buying and selling. They're not doing that. They're not taking all these profits to offset the losses. If I go back here, you can see this one, I've taken 150,000 in profits to offset this. I'm down 48,000 in my open positions. That's up here, and the price is down here. But I've taken 150,000 from the wiggles, so I still have a net profit of $101,000. Same thing here. I've taken 60,000 of profits here, and I'm only down 19,000 in my open inventory. Whereas if you didn't have this column of profits taken, this would all just be negatives. You'd be sitting there a few 100,000 underwater. Instead of up, you'd be down. And that's the secret to the market, is keep taking profits and never let that price run away from you. And no matter where the price goes, I'm always trading. Always trading. So this report is critical. It's gold. I just created a new report, a new trader, actually 2 weeks ago, where I just grabbed these first 5 coins off the top of this list, threw 150,000 into an account, and I just said, I'm just gonna grab these top 5 coins. Nothing to think about. I didn't even think about it. It's like I don't have to figure out. I'm not interested in, do I like Butterfingers? No. But do they sell a lot of them? Yes. That's all I care about. I'm not here to, it doesn't matter whether I like the product or not. That's not what this is about. I mean, if you want to only buy things that you like, I mean, that's not investing, in my opinion. Because the stuff that you like might be all the way down at the bottom of this report. See, I don't want to trade coins that are gonna give me 0 trades in 1 month, 8 trades that month, 0 again that month, 8 that month, 11 trades that month, 7 trades. There's no money in that, and the thing is, there's 10,000 coins out there. I want to trade the cream of the crop. Give me stuff that's going to give me 1,000 trades a year.
Hey, Ed.
Swift and SPA have been the number 1 and number 2 for months. They've been just going back and forth. Swift just took over Swift was number 1, and then SPA took over last month. Remember that? SPA was number 1 for a couple months, I think. And then Swift came back and said, "No, I'm number 1." It's great.
Hey, Ed, because of time constraints today, this was quite a bit on the billion-dollar report, so I think we could move past that. And I think it's remove, if it's not too chilly where you are, maybe it's remove your jacket time.
Are we going to go to Q&A? I love the Q&A session, baby.
Yep. Yeah, it's time. It's time.
All right, lay it on me. You know, I've been hearing negative stuff for 25 years. Every negative thing you could think of. If it wasn't, you know, if it was real, he wouldn't be sharing it with you. It's like
Well,
if I wasn't sharing this with the public for the last 25 years, I wouldn't know all that I know. It's
yeah,
because of the sharing that we all work together to conquer the market. I didn't say I'm going to conquer the market in 2000. I said we're going to conquer the market. And we started working together, and I started just, you know, working with everybody. I used to present all over the country. And me and Attila, you remember we'd be on planes together sometimes.
yeah.
I don't know how we were on that plane together. I think we were flying to Vegas from Florida, and I think I did
Tampa.
a presentation in Florida. That's where I met up with you.
Yes.
And then we flew to Vegas, and I did another presentation to another audience. I mean, it's fun to present to audiences. And you hear
Yeah.
all the negative stuff because did you notice something? Some of you may have noticed no stop losses.
Yeah.
That means now stop and think about it because you're taught all that wrong stuff. People are actually taught to sell something if it goes the wrong way. If you're selling things at a loss just because it went down, why?
And no leverage either.
And no leverage. There's no margining in this either. We're not gambling. So, I mean, I've already won. The software already won the minute it bought the coin. When it bought it up here, when it first bought the coin, it took your money and it divided it all the way up to the bottom and said, I've got enough to go all the way to the bottom. That means I don't care where the price goes, you can't hurt me. And I'm just going to keep taking profits and just keep taking forever. And there's nothing you can do to stop it. Now I heard somebody during a presentation, to a live audience. I heard one guy in the audience go, you know, since I don't use stop losses because that's what you're taught in schools, right? That misinformation. You know, do you realize when you're taught stuff in a school in a trading class, the guy teaching the class is probably lying to you. He's not even in the market really himself, but he's telling you stuff that he really doesn't know at all. And but I heard somebody in the audience go, if you're not using a stop loss, that's like catching a falling knife. It's like stop with the cliches, you know? It's like stop it, man. You're brainwashed. I have no reason to be selling anything at a loss. I don't care if I hold these losers up here. I'm going to trade it down here 1,000 times. I'm going to make up for anything that's underwater. These few positions I'm holding that are underwater.
Yeah.
So what do we got?
All right. Well, Anthony has more of a request rather than a
Oh,
rather than
sorry, Anthony. No, the answer is no. I don't have time for your request. Anything else?
That's funny. Well, before you go, Attila, before you do that, let me say thank you to Anthony again last week. If you were with us, you know that he willfully sent us a great testimonial, great testimonial. We appreciate that, and in return for that, we offered him $50 in crypto of his choice. He asked us to pay it forward, and Carol, who I don't think is with us today, was rewarded by his gratitude and appreciation. So again, Anthony, we just want to say thank you for what you do as a hero and paying it forward and taking good care of your family as a Go Baby Trade believer. So we
Yeah, and Carol pulled the trigger as the first one after last week's Zoom, and I already sent her $50, or I mean 50 USDC, and she put it in her account to trade with. So she's happy, happier than can be. So thanks, Anthony. Great job. Anyway, Anthony's request, Ed Barsano, is this. I'll read it. Go Baby Trade team, is there a chance you could bless us with Mr. Barsano's son, Stephen, to the webinars once in a while? It would be nice to meet him. I think getting his perspective and or experience utilizing the trader if he's participating would bring a different dynamic to the table, especially if he's willing to share a little insight with his journey working aside his dad, Mr. Barsinister.
well, that would be awesome. But Mr. Barsano does not. His son Steven's chained to the desk in the basement. He never gets to come out.
That's right.
Yeah, yeah. For
No,
real.
Steven is a programmer and he's a hardcore programmer and that's up to him if he wants to ever come on. As a
Yeah.
matter of fact, I did talk to a group a few days ago and with Steven.
Really?
Yeah.
I think the audience would love that.
So we did sit and
Cool.
talk with a small group
Cool. Cool.
side by
Okay.
side.
All right.
If you pose that to him and he's willing to do that, just let me know and I'll send him a panelist link. That would be great. We know Stephen, but chip off the old block.
I mean, you really want to sit there and listen to us argue over stuff?
No, it's
As
just
you can imagine, anybody that's a programmer knows programmers argue about how things are done.
well, we'll
You know?
shine a little bit of light and gratitude and thanks on him if he bestows us with his presence. Obviously, we're not going to grill him, but it would be great to show part of the team. That's a great request.
Okay, go. Want to grab the next one, Edward?
Sure. Let me bring that up. I am going to there you go. So, Reese, the last 2 weeks have been terrible for me. I hope that
For
means
you and for millions of others.
right. Well, you're still healthy. I know it's all market driven, but just wondering if I'm alone. I have not changed anything in my settings. Right. So the first part of the answer is you and everybody else. The market has been wiggling sideways, and my personal opinion, not my advice, my personal opinion only is we're getting ready as a setup for the biggest move. You've heard Mr. Barsano talk about the ones with millions and billions forcing the market down. Look, I say and I said this last week and a couple of other times that if you looked at a timeline of crypto, we're still in the dinosaur age. But over the last 4.5 years, 4 years, it's been no, actually, since April of 2021, the market has been down 90%. But you look at the results that have been generated over that period of time, that's ridiculous. $384,000 generated over actually not even that one started February of 23. Mr. Barsano's original account is almost 5x in less than 4 years in a 90% down market. Let that sink in
Yeah, I
now
tried to go
and
to a
later.
smaller account than my original one because the original one has $1 million in it. I was getting negative feedback from people saying, "Yeah, hey, I don't have $1 million. So why do you show such big accounts?" So I scaled it down to a smaller account. Um, but yeah,
My point being 90 plus down percent and still cranking out consistent profits. This market, and Attila mentioned it at the beginning, this trader has never seen a bull market, a full bull trend market, right? As Mr. Barsano said, you see a couple of blips in the up days, which is great because then we keep buying inventory and it keeps spitting out profits. I'll take credit for calling it the $1 billion report, but I also will take credit for saying what this machine does. Two things. It never sells at a profit because it's programmed not to. In the meantime, it collects inventory waiting for the next blip, right? And the second point about the second point being the way that it's constructed, you cannot sneak a move in the market. The market can't sneak anything past this trader. It eats
no,
volatility. Eats volatility. I mean, look at the trades. Look at as you scroll it. It's just look at the time frames.
just free money.
It
And the thing
literally
is, look at this one here, $15. The auto trader takes what the market wants to give. I'm not here to dictate to the market. So many people they really want to control the market, and it's discouraging for me to see the emails that I get from people who just want to control the market. It's like, this auto trader isn't delivering the goods. Say that's the market not delivering the goods. Don't blame the auto trader. The auto trader's kicking butt here.
Yeah,
You know, you don't have patience. It's like, don't put money in the market, folks. If you really feel like you need to go, you're gonna run out next week and buy a Ferrari with the money, then go just buy the Ferrari, all right? Because if you put the money in the auto trader, leave it alone and watch it grow. Because this trader doesn't look at profits minute by minute. What it is it's the long term grind of the market. Like I said, Warren Buffett would love a trader that cranks out 100% a year. He would love that. I don't see him getting 100% a year on his investments. Mr. Guy's 100 years old and he's over there making billions of dollars. Yeah, I would have loved to be buying Gillette in the 40s also, but like he did, So he had a big leg up on everybody, right? And he's trading with billions of dollars. But but to have an auto trader that you don't have to do anything but put your money in and watch it grow, the same money that where else are you going to put it in a bank and get 1% a year? And or you're going to put it in these other places where you risk getting scammed. Because in the last month, I've had two people tell me how they got ripped off in other ventures. One of them where the guy put his money in and they were matching him dollar for dollar for months. And he thought, oh boy, this is heaven. So he kept throwing more money in there. But he didn't realize he was throwing all his money into somebody else's account, right? Somebody else who's in control of his money. And then when he got up to 150,000 and he tried to take his initial 50,000 that he put in out, they wouldn't let him do it. They said, send us another $2,500 and then we'll let you do a withdrawal. It's like, no. Send money to get money. That's a scam. And another guy got one of those emails that said that, if you send us 1,000, we'll send you 100,000, something like that, which was crazy. And he had to pay with Apple Pay dollars, which was really crazy. He said 4 people in Walmart, when he went to buy those Apple Pay cards, 4 people in the store said, do not send that to somebody. And he still did it. And then he called me, because then they called him and they wanted him to send more money, 5,000 more. And I said, don't send it, man. You're being scammed. And that's intelligent people fall for those traps, which is remarkable. With us, all your money is in Coinbase or Kraken, 2 US-based exchanges. The auto trader can only talk to those exchanges in terms of the auto trader can send buy and sell orders. And so all your money and your coins are sitting in Coinbase or Kraken. And they're filling the orders. They are filling the orders. Nothing is in Go Baby Trade. Go Baby Trade doesn't have a dollar of your money. So it's all safe up there. And we turn on security for you. If you were to go to the menu, you see down here it says Coinbase allow list. That's a security feature. Whether you sign up with Go Baby Trade or not, you should turn on the Coinbase allow list security feature. That stops people from stealing your coins.
And that's in Coinbase. So Reese, I know we answered it through 7 different directions, but everybody's in the same position. Here's the good news: is that
we're all in the same boat.
The market's down and sideways. It's just collecting inventory. Just hang in there. So
there's no rush. There's nothing to be panicked about. I mean, I'm at ease with the market. It's like they want to give me. I mean, I ordered pizza last night. I don't think I spent $67. But I pretty much can't spend the money that my auto traders make every month. They just keep throwing money at me. I mean, I have another auto trader that does over 12,000 every month. I mean, and I have a Coinbase Visa card that I just use everywhere I go. And every time I use it, what do I say, Edward?
It's the card that keeps on giving.
Right.
We're really short on time. We got to get back to the questions, guys.
We are. Any questions that we don't get to, including Matthias has some other questions. He says, don't sell me. We're not selling you. We're giving you factual information. You decide or not. We're not forcing you to buy it. We're not forcing you not to buy it. But if you have more questions, I just posted in the chat again. our emails, if they're questions that are more of a technical nature, send them to support at Go Baby Trade. If they are non-technical questions and you need just more information, then send it to support at RCT Marketing Systems. So,
Let me grab April's question because
yep.
I do speak to her offline sometimes and I communicate answering her questions anyway. So she says, I'd be interested in hearing in the chat what tokens folks have had success with. Well, you don't have to go to the chat. You could basically go to the $1 billion report. It's right there. And you have seen some of the coins that people are trading in the chat. I mean, they do say it there.
What
Currently,
is success?
Currently, I have $3,000 on paper. I guess she's in paper trading, of which ADA, which is Cardano, seems to be my best one. It's been suggested. Ondo and Pepe are good, yes. Also, then the top traders report, which is the $1 billion report on the main page, recently, past 30 days, just curious. So basically, I mean, it's kind of redundant, April. We've covered your question. You see the $1 billion report. We've spoken. You see the comments in the chat. I think you've got folks, don't overthink this. Pick 2 coins that are in the top 20 or 30. Put them to work and get going. I mean, this is not complicated. Mr. Barsano made this this thing.
But it's nothing's going to be success when you say you've had success. In the last 2 weeks, the market dropped 20%. I mean, think about that. That means a $1 coin went to 80 cents. I mean, that's remarkable, and that's an amazing drop in price. The secret to the market is keep taking profits. It adds up. This is the secret. It's like Attila, on my other trader, I took $947,000.
Yeah.
And then I said, no, I never took that. And you said, what do you
what
mean
do
you
you
never
mean?
took that? It showed it right there on my other trader, 940, something like 947,000. I said, I didn't take that. I took these. And this is the small, I just took whatever the market wanted to give me, and it added up to that. So in the long run, I mean, you bought a 3-year license. That's why we sell 3-year licenses. There was actually a reason for it. All right. I mean, I could have sold you for the same amount of money. I could have sold you a 1-year license. I gave you 2 bonus years to just, in other words, I wanted you to be able to just let it run, and you will be amazed if you just leave it alone, because this bucket in a well is real, and it's gonna just keep taking money for the rest of your life. I've had people tell me they're selling their rental properties. People are mortgaging their houses to get more money to just throw in the auto trader. I actually put a blog out on the website that said, do not mortgage your house, because that kind of
Well,
feels a little weird.
we had someone today that did, and he started it. The comment in the chat was, sorry, Ed, you're not going to like hearing this, but I did mortgage my house.
See, it just feels, I don't mind it as long as they're really going to just leave it in the auto trader. I worry that somebody's going to mortgage their house and then run out and buy a new car.
Well,
That's
yep.
really the reason I say don't do it.
Put it in the auto trader and then make double and triple the payments as it spits out those returns only on the profits that it saves. It comes defaulted, 1, to not sell at a loss, 2, to save all of your profits. Then just accelerate the repayment. And then you're doing what the billionaires do, which is use debt to make more billions.
Yeah.
And that's
My
the thing,
opinion,
it's a money
not my
machine
advice.
for life. It's a money machine for life.
Well, look,
It's gonna
here's
keep
the simple
taking
example.
profits forever. Once you
Right.
get it, you never look at the market the same again.
No, you don't. Here's the simple equation. People ask us, how much money do I need to start with? Well, $3,400 or $3,500 is a lot of money. How much money do I have to put in to make that? We can't answer those questions. But what I can tell you is, based on what you've seen, do this calculation. So, by the way, you're getting, and I'll post it in again before I make this statement, you're getting $1,000 discount by the fact that Mr. Barsano and Crypto Casey, which is probably why you're here, worked out a deal to benefit everybody. So let's just assume that you're getting the discount, and you get the discount as long as you're in the Go Baby Trade fold. After the first 3 years, you get to buy it again at $3,400. I can almost promise you, I'm not going to put words in Mr. Barsano's mouth, but Casey, when she was live last week or a couple weeks ago, I asked her, I put her on the spot. This wasn't planned. I said, "What do you believe the value of this trader is?" And she said 25 grand a year. Now, I don't think he's going to charge $25,000 a year, but if he chooses to put the price up, the idea is that he wants to bless everybody. We're here as the educators. We're not selling anybody. Don't buy it, but be educated. That's it.
Yep.
I love these.
So,
I love
so
Wednesdays. I love coming to these webinars because it's a lot of fun talking about the
yeah,
trader.
but think about it this way: if the trader only made you $20 a day, that's $7,300 a year in profit times 3 years is 2,100. I'm sorry, $21,900 on a $3,400 investment. If I told you that give me 3 grand and I'd give you 2,100 or 3,500 and your return is $7,300 a year, how many times are you going to give me that money? All the time, every time. This is a relatively no brainer, but I can tell you it's not for everybody.
Yeah.
Well,
Last
who's it not for, really? You know, the people that are impatient or they think that there's something else going on. I think some people don't understand what automation is, what an automated trader is. The automated trader can't make the market do things.
Yeah.
Okay, it can't make it do it. It's taken whatever the market's willing to give it. And nobody can make the market do things. Anytime any auto trader in existence, whether it's mine or somebody else's, buys a coin, that coin can only do two things: go up or go down. And now the question is, how do you handle that loser? And if they're going to go down and then sell it at a loss, in my opinion, they're dead already. Because you're going to be selling your coins at a loss every other day. We never have a losing trade. There's no negatives here, no negative positions, negative selling at all. We force the market, we punish the market for going down, and we just keep taking. And then the coins pop. And when they pop like this, it's like just all day long, it's just give me free money, free money, free money. I call the market an insult to humanity.
Okay, last question. Can you cover the best from Ellery? Can you cover the best practices for rebalancing your trader? Example, replacing current assets for others, not suggested, folks. Freeing up funds that may already be locked into assets you want to sell and replace with other crypto assets. My
Well,
my 2 cents on that before I hand it over to Ed Barsano. Pick 2 to 4 really good coins that you like and stick with them. Don't be changing in and out of coins. It gets sticky. It gets messy. It gets
well, you sell
complicated.
things at a loss. The
Yeah.
thing is, what I don't want to do, I can tell you this. See, it's a hard example because of my trader has so much inventory. But I wouldn't sell any of these at a loss because I'm not going to take that kind of a loss, a $19,000 loss. So I'm not going to close these positions at a loss. So that's not something I would do. The other thing is, um, if I'm not down a lot on a coin, that's the first pass I do when I'm helping someone, and I've helped people do it. We bring up all their coins that they own, and the first thing we say is, let's go through and close out everything that you're not down on, for starters, that or you're not down much on. Like you're down $30 or $3, whatever, it's all relative to how much money's in your account. Get rid of all that stuff and flush all those out. And and then you're reduced it down to a handful of coins that you really don't want to sell at a loss. Okay? Then you can go to the next screen here and figure out which coins do you really want to trade based on the highest trade count report. Are they near the top of the report, or are they all the way down near the bottom? Junk coins. the other thing is, then it comes down to unchecking, allow opening positions. Don't allow it to open, but allow it to close it. And this is really, you almost hate to have to do that. That's why you want to do this kind of stuff. That's why I've been trading the same coins for years without changing my coins,
Yeah.
because I don't want to do that. And I see people with 20 or 30 coins and they're unchecking the allow buying and selling. And I'm like, then you're creating big gaps in the coin, or they're unchecking the allowing to add to advancers and decliners, and they're leaving the allow sell checked. And again, that's like sitting with silver dollars, or I just feel like you get big gaps in a coin. Say the coin drops 20 or 30% and you're not adding. I'd rather leave it checked and just lower. You see that $20,000 there, lower it a little. Well, that you can't go that far. You can never lower the amount. Don't tell it to allow it to trade with 92,000 if you've already used 102,000, because then you have a negative available funds. So the amount that you have that you're gonna allow it to invest, at least give it some money. So I lowered that from 20% to 17%. So I allowed it to still have some money, and I am allowing it to continue trading, so that I'm always going to at least be in the game.
Yeah.
So if you do that, that's a big deal. So like this 19,000 here, say I decided I don't want Doge, I'll lower that by a few percent and see. I still want to stay in the game. Maybe that's a little too low, maybe 10%, So I lowered it from 20,000 to 7,000, gave it less money. Now that freed up 5% more. You can see I'm at 95%. So then, if I wanted to add another coin, like
Or just raise Swift.
or XRP, I could give XRP 5%, to trade with.
Yeah. So you could see, folks, this is a little convoluted here. So if you want to keep things simple, just stick with what I said before Mr. Barsano took over. Pick, especially if you're over $5,000. If you're below $5,000, I really wouldn't be trading with more than 2 coins. Once you get over 5,000,
Yeah, you don't need a lot of coins. And
no.
then, and if you also have under $5,000, change this profit goal to 5% instead of 3. And leave this at 3 at the bottom, but just change the profit goal to 5. Raise the profit goal a little bit.
Yeah, and so that's why I say if you have over 5,000, 2 to 4 coins are plenty. Ed Barsano's had 4 coins for the last 3.5 years, almost 4, and he's done amazing. You could see the results.
My other trader that has 1 million in it, I've only got the same 4 coins I've been trading for 4
Same
years.
4.
I don't even. I
Same
never
4.
even, this highest trade count report is a new report. I only created this starting last year. When I first started, I didn't have this report. I didn't create the report. I just did research on the internet where I just Googled every coin. Coinbase only had 35 coins at the time that you could trade. So I researched each one. And I discovered ACH and GRT, multi-billion-dollar companies. Shiba Inu is one of the most widely held coins. Almost everybody owns SHIB. And the price is amazing, because this could go from 1247 to 33, literally in 2 days. And I've watched it do it. I watched that coin go up 100% in one day. I watched it go up 66% one day and 100% the very next day. GRT was at 33 cents just a few months ago, and now it's at 9 cents. This is a joke. These coins have been pushed down unrealistically low, and they're great companies. That's the beauty. These
Yeah.
are multi-billion-dollar companies at going for pennies. This is a joke. And I know the whales are loading up like crazy. They are going to make this the biggest payday ever. The biggest payday of our generation. And I'm not being a
Agreed.
salesman. I'm just saying you can't own enough crypto. I don't care where these coins go. You are not going to scare me out. I'm going to let my auto trader buy them on down days and sell them on up days, and I'm not even worried about
So
it.
I have to I have to say we're 17 minutes over. Attila and I are gonna miss our next meeting. I am so sorry. We hate to rush you. We're my hope is that everybody that's joined us, particularly the new eyes and ears, welcome again to everybody. Thank you for spending a little bit of time with us. You're welcome to come back every week. We go through generally the same format. And to mirror what Attila said, the only negative comments, and I think Mr. Barsano can concur, the only negative comments or skeptical comments come from those that don't own the trader. Um, this,
Right.
this is not advice. This is, this we're showing you a tool that is so powerful it does not exist anywhere else in the marketplace. Our goal and our desire is for everybody to know about it. So if you want to spread the word, that's awesome. Join us.
And also, I got to add to that, Edward. We forgot to say to those people that are here, they're here because of Crypto Casey, and we are the educational and support mechanism for Crypto Casey as it pertains to Go Baby Trade. But let me just say, she bought the trader for $1,000 more than she should have spent on the trader because she wanted it to be totally anonymous.
Mhm.
And she wanted to use it for 3 to 4 months, which she did. And she did that because she said, there's no way I'm bringing this to my audience of over, back then, about a year ago, it was about close to 600,000 people before I test it myself.
Yeah.
So it passed Crypto Casey's test. That should speak volumes to everybody that's on here as a result of listening to Crypto Casey. She did
Right.
her own test. Okay.
Right. And make it even what we to add on to that story, and then we'll let you go. When we first met with Casey, it was 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 months before she decided to buy the trader, and we didn't know she bought the trader. But now go watch last week's where Casey was live, and she'll tell you when she met with us, first thing out of her mouth, not to us, but to everybody else, was that not her audience, but friends. She walked away going, "This is a scam. It can't exist. It cannot exist." Well, she went off and bought the trader several months later, let it perform to do what it did. She called us and said, "I didn't believe it, but now I'm a believer." And that's when she started sharing it with her audience. So
Exactly.
you
Well,
don't have to believe us.
look what happened on January 26th. Alchemy Pay took off, and it went from 2.2 cents to 5.6 cents. Look at this, 2.1 right here. And in 4 days from January 26th to like February 1st, look at all that selling.
Wow.
ACH, closing, all that. It just
Yep.
rocketed to 5.6 cents. And what's really nice is while it was going up, it was wiggling because it didn't just go straight up. It went up and then it pulled down a little and then it continued going higher. And every time it pulled down a little, we bought more. The auto trader bought more and then sold it off, as it kept going higher. That's why we add to advancers and decliners. We got the market coming and going, man. They can't even wiggle these coins a little. And if they try to do big moves, then we take big money. That's when we take $2,200, $2,000, $1,700. It's like we got them trapped, and there's
We
nothing
do.
they can do to stop us. We're not violating any laws. It's almost criminal what we're doing.
Listen
It
closely.
feels criminal because nobody does money management like the auto trader does. And
Nope.
it's
Try to
already
think.
won. And when it buys a coin, no matter where it buys it, it already won the game. It already says, I got you. As soon as it's like a chess game. It's like, Bobby Fischer, 18 moves ahead, says as soon as he made a certain move, they already know he won this game.
Right.
Well,
And that's how the auto trader is. It already knows it won the game at the time that it buys the coin. It's done. It's already planned. See, that's the difference between an auto trader, the go baby trade, and the way most people think. Most people, when they buy a coin, in their mind, they're thinking, you're buying it and it's going to go up. Think about yourself. When you buy a coin, you're thinking it's going to go up. The auto trader said, there's nothing to think about there. If it goes up, we already know we made money. The auto trader doesn't even care about that. That's automatic. The auto trader says it's going to go down, and it plans ahead, and it divides up that money, and it says, all right, no matter where that coin goes, I got it trapped. As soon as it bought it, it already planned for the worst case scenario, a 99% drop. It says, I got you trapped now. For the rest of your life, you're just going to keep paying me now, and there's nothing you can do to stop it. Not violate any laws.
Yeah. All I can say is what a blessing, Mr. Barsano, you have provided for me, my family, hopefully everybody else that hears this and sees the opportunity. For those I mentioned, the Crypto Casey Live, I posted the link so you don't have to look for it. Watch that. She's a great person. We really enjoy her as a person and have a great relationship because she takes the opportunity like we do to educate people to your benefit. Again, we're not here to convince you. We're here to simply educate you and allow you to make your own decision. So with that, those are my final comments other than Attila, it's always a pleasure. Thank you so much. Mr. Barsano, you're simply a blessing. Yes, go Navy. We'll agree. Go Navy. Those are my comments. Please join us anytime. The same link that you shared that you register with, you can do that in the future. Come learn. We love the fact that you come back and answer great questions, and also when you end up becoming part of the Go Baby Trade family, you're so generous in sharing your thoughts, your performance, the biggest thing for us is when people share, when they say, like Crypto Casey, scam, I didn't believe it, I became a believer when I used it. That's the open and close. Mr. Barsano, thank you. I'll turn it over to you gentlemen for final comments, and then we'll let our people go.
Ed, you want to say something before you go?
I just want to thank Crypto Casey for letting me speak to her audience as usual, and I think it's great. And don't forget, she has that $1,000 off discount link for anyone that signs up. So I appreciate it. I appreciate Crypto Casey. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks everybody for being here. And basically, we're here same time, same channel every Wednesday, 2 p.m. Eastern. If you want to multiply your money and you want to put your money to work, give your money a job, there's no better way, in my humble opinion, than with this robotic trader. It just absolutely rocks. 25-year track record. Everything is optimized based on history. And it just doesn't get much better than this, where you could do it with a set it and forget it platform, no screen time. And so go forth, multiply your money. We'll see you next week. Thank you again for being here.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye-bye.